Hello and welcome to another edition of NRL Off the Field, podcast number 6. Today there's a lot to get through, from rumours, signings, information, origin recap. Also going to be talking about just breaking news that has just recently come out about match fixing. Also just certain things like Supercoach as well. So one thing I didn't touch on last week, I'll touch on it this week as well, and we'll go from there. Whatever else pops up in my mind, I'll talk about. But at the moment, I'm liking how the channel's going. There's always people watching every day. I'm trying to look at, to see if the amount of views are going up for the YouTube channels, and they are, so that's a good thing. Also, the subscription is going up as well, so that's a positive. Obviously, I'll always remind you guys, like the video, comment. I'm getting comments now, so that's a good thing. Share it, subscribe as well, and also in the description box is a link to my page, which is just gone bizarre lately. Just so many likes each day, and there's a lot of engagement in it, and that's why I'm trying to link both together so I can get engagement in this YouTube channel, and we'll hopefully keeps growing like my page is going now. So we'll go straight into it because there's a lot to get through. We're gonna start on just information like rumors and signings that the latest has been going around. So I'm gonna touch on a couple. So the first one I'm gonna touch on is Newcastle. They're one of their youngsters, Nathan Ross. Now he's at the moment he's talking and negotiating a possible deal with the Knights. A couple of days ago, I actually met with the management, just basically to see what are his chances of actually re-signing, because the Knights have salary cap problems, and hence why Sims is going. Uwate's an outer. I heard Uwate's on about 500,000, so that's massive, and he's one of because of those kind of things, players getting overpaid. You're gonna have to start losing your juniors, and in this case, I'm afraid that based on the latest I've heard, is Nathan Ross will leave, and he will leave to not to another NRL club, but he'll go overseas to England. There was a rumor a long time ago about him going, and it's just resurfaced now, so expect him to leave. Today, the Penrith Panthers announced the re-signing of James Fisher-Harris and Nathan Cleary, who's the son of Ivan Cleary, ex-Penrith coach. So James Fisher, both of them have re-signed until 2019, so that's a positive for the Panthers club, because Cleary he's been killing it in lower grades, and James Fisher-Harris he's a junior Kiwi. He's a great player. He's injured now, but he's had a great start to the NRL season. Another rumor that I want to touch on, is Michael Gordon to the Sydney Roosters. That was the rumor going around last week. Brad Arthur denied it. He said it wasn't going to happen, but we just have to see what's going to happen, because the funny thing is, they have to re-sign Corey Norman, who's going to want a lot of money, but Michael Gordon's off contract as well. So if Michael Gordon doesn't leave mid-season, you think he's going to leave at the end of the season, whether that's to the Roosters or not. But Brad Arthur denied that there was going to be a mid-season switch. There's a lot of coaches that have denied that, and that exact thing has happened. But I really don't know what's going to happen. But I think he'll go. But there's been Brad Arthur's denied it, so it's kind of hard on, but it's kind of that if it doesn't happen mid-season, it will happen next year, because he is off contract. And if they're struggling to re-sign Corey Norman, and I've got salary cap problems, then because I've got salary cap problems, then you think Michael Gordon won't even be re-signed. So what's the point of having someone that's going to leave next year? So that's another thing you can consider. So if Michael Gordon is going to leave at the end of the season, they could possibly just let him go now, and just blood in a junior or something like that. Another thing I want to talk about is the Sims and the Knights and Dragons switch. So Tariq Sims apparently he is on the outside, or he is obviously on the outer. He's gone to the Dragons on a 3-year deal. The Knights obviously want to compensate for that. 3 players I've heard is Will Matthews, Jake Marketo, and Mike Cooper. Mike Cooper's the newest one I've heard. Mike Cooper to Tariq Sim doesn't sound like a good trade because he's a good player, and he's been a great buy for the Dragons. And if he was to leave, I don't think Dragon fans would be happy. On the other hand, you got Marketo and Matthews, so if one of them wants to leave for Sims, then that's a decent trade, because Sims is a great player, and it's something that the Dragons need, because they have lost Mossy Muswell for the whole season, and Sims is that experienced player. So he adds that what they've lost there. But in saying that, it might not even be a mid-season switch. So we have to wait and see what's going to happen with that. If it's not going to happen now, it's obviously going to happen in 2017, because they've confirmed it to be a signing for 2017. Now, the Panthers yesterday, they confirmed that they won't re-sign James Segeyaro. He won't be offered a new contract. There's talk about the Dragons being interested, the Rabbitohs being interested. I think he'll go overseas unless the Dragons lose mid-train. If the Dragons lose mid-train, you'd think they'll have a crack at James Segeyaro. So they've said that they've just signed Sims, so, and they've got Benjamin Marshall off contract. They're also after Luke Keary. So there's a lot of things still going on at the Dragons club, but no doubt Segeyaro will add something that mid-train doesn't have. For the right money, I think the Dragons fans will be happy to sign. Will be happy for their club to sign James Segeyaro. But for me, in my opinion, I think he will go overseas. If obviously they offer him, big money, because I don't see. You got the Rabbitohs as well with Damien Cook. Apparently he's on the outer. If I heard the Rabbitohs and the Dragons were interested, they're the 2 main clubs that I keep hearing, and I also heard English Super League as well. So between those 3, unless the Dragons release mid-train, I don't think they'll sign him, and unless the Rabbitohs release Luke Keary and Damien Cook, I don't see them signing James Segeyaro. And at this stage, I'll touch on the Rabbitohs and if they're going to keep Luke Keary or not, and same with the Dragons. So I'll go back to the James Segeyaro situation later on. But for the Panthers again, with Josh Mansell, they've got salary cap problems now. I don't know if it's problems trying to fit players in, or problems that because they want to sign players. And I think that James Tama will sign with the Panthers on a 4-year deal, and they've already offered Josh Mansell a contract, but he has not signed that contract yet. Because he is an Origin player now, he's going to want more money. So if he's going to test the market, I don't see Penrith holding him on unless he takes a pay cut, which I hope he does, because Penrith gave him his opportunity and he's a great player. They gave him his opportunity to play first grade, and they've re-signed him already once, but he's off contract again, and he's gonna attract rival clubs, especially now because he is playing Origin. So signing James Tama and losing Segeyaro, Peachy, or Josh Mansell, or losing 2 out of the 3, or losing all 3, you don't know. But in my opinion, it's not worth it. But if Penrith were to lose James Segeyaro and keep Josh Mansell and sign Tama, that'll be great. But as it stands, Segeyaro is going. Mansell is 50-50 at the moment. But if he is going to test the market, and and he's going to command more money, then I don't see him staying either, which is obviously a bad thing, because he's a great player to the Penrith club, and he makes a lot of meters, and when they're in trouble from dummy half, he can carry a couple of plays and make the meters that they need to get out of that 20 or that 10 meter line. Another player as well, another Penrith rumour, Paul Carter. Now Paul Carter, he's the son of Steve Carter, who played for the Panthers. I think it was 1990 around that to the 2000. He played in the halves. Now Paul Carter is apparently been talking to Penrith, and apparently they want him. There was a rumour going around a long time ago that they were interested in him, but it's on again. And with Segeyaro leaving, Paul Carter can play hooker, so keep an eye out on that one. So I think they'll get him, but it's just a matter of when and how. So what I mean by how is do they lose Peachy and sign Tamel and Carter, or do they lose Mansell and sign Carter and Tamel? Because I don't see Penrith signing Tamel, Carter, and keeping Mansell or Peachy. So I think there's gonna be something's gonna happen, but it's just a matter of time and when. Now back to the Rabbitohs. So couple of days ago, Cody Walker, the Rabbitohs finally announced the re-signing of Cody Walker on a new 2-year deal, and the rumour again started that Robert Jennings from the Penrith Panthers, he'll be leaving the Panthers and signing with the South Sydney Rabbitohs. So keep an eye on that one. I don't know if it's mid-season switch like it was meant to happen. A couple of weeks ago there was a rumour about the Jennings brothers, or Robert Jennings for Chris Gresmill. We all know now Chris Gresmill was at Panthers, but Phil Gould denied that Robert Jennings was going, and he kind of stopped that from happening. But it's kind of resurfaced, and if it does happen, don't get shocked, because it's back on the radar for the Rabbitohs. Now, what does this mean for the Rabbitohs? Well, Luke Keary, he's not staying, he'll be going, and just a couple of other players like Jason Clark and Dave Tyrrell, they're both going as well, something I touched on in the last podcast. So expect them all three to leave. Luke Keary most likely to the Dragons, or also to the Storm. I think the Storm were interested in him, I think. So expect, don't get shocked if Luke Keary does go as well, because Cody Walker staying, Luke Keary going. I don't see them both staying, there's no point. Now going to Jackson Hastings. Now he's been dropped from the Roosters, he's not playing this week. Apparently was interested in him, apparently, but don't get shocked as well if the Dragons go for him, because if they don't sign Luke Keary, I really think they'll go for Jackson Hastings, and he was at their club, so they might re-sign him as well, get him back at the club. So keep an eye out on that one, Jackson Hastings to the Dragons or Eels. Now the Storm, Blake Green at their half. One thing that I found out a couple of days ago that I read was Manly Seagulls are interested in him, which is pretty funny, because they've got Dylan Walker and Daly Cherry Evans. So getting Blake Green in, I think they're kind of thinking Dylan Walker will go back into the centre, with Blake Green coming into the halves, and this is for next year, and Lyon obviously retiring. So Walker goes to the centre, Blake Green, DC in the half. So keep an eye out on that one. Cody Nikorima, he's a done deal at the Melbourne Storm, so expect an announcement soon. Michael Ennis re-signing with the Cronulla Sharks as well. That's another one that's going to happen soon. So keep an eye out on that one. So Michael Ennis re-signing with the Sharks. Robbie Rocco as well. The Eels or the Sharks are interested in him. I keep saying it. He's going to sign, by just a matter of when. He'll be leaving the club. Just a matter of who's going to sign him and when, but Sharks are interested in him, and they're interested in Tom Simons as well, so expect an announcement from the Sharks to either of those players. Another one as well is Chris Hyington, so he's apparently, he's set to lose, the Sharks are set to lose him to English Super League, St Helens, or the Caelan Dragons will sign him, so keep an eye out on that one. Now, just those are the signings and rumours. I want to touch on just general news that's going around at the moment. So Parramatta Eels have lost Kieran Foran out for the season. Brad Takarangi will miss a month of footy due to a hamstring injury, but I think he'll lose 2 weeks because of the bye, so they won't play him for 2 weeks, so that's alright. Edric Lee is out for tomorrow's clash against the Manly Sea Eagles with a hamstring injury. And today the biggest big news that's just been announced is there's been an investigation. There's going to be an investigation into the NRL match fixing. Now, the state organised crime squad are looking at least 2 games, and it's understood that the games that are under investigation are the Manly Sea Eagles and South Sydney Rabbitohs in round 16 last year, and also Manly versus Parramatta Eels in round 24 last year. So both Manly games, they lost both actually, Manly 28 and 2016. So keep an eye on that one. I don't know any in particular players or anything, but I know that there's 4 players under investigation. I don't know anything about that. I don't know which 4, but at the moment that's what's getting reported. So 4 players under investigation. Now, State of Origin. A recap on State of Origin, what my opinion was, how I felt like the New South Wales went. Same thing with Queensland, but it's just something I want to touch on before. State of Origin TV ratings for Game 1. The national audience, the national average audience was 3.951 million, so that's about 4 million. That was the national average. National peak audience was 4.423 million, so that's a massive peak. The Sydney average was 1.2 million. The Brisbane national the average was 813,000. Melbourne's average was about 500,000. Adelaide's average was 102,000, and Perth's average was 98. And they're only averages. So for example, Brisbane, their peak was at 860, so that's another 50,000 extra. Melbourne was 559, so that's about 60,000 extra as well. So they're only average numbers for those 5 cities. But the total combined was 2.708 for the 5 cities, and regional was 1.243, which includes a 9 gem for Perth, and that's the highest ever national average national audience. So it's a great effort, and over 80,000 in not the best weather is also attendance, and it's a win-win for the NRL. There's no doubt they'll be the highest rating game, unless New South Wales do a miracle and win Game 2. I think Game 3 will match these ratings, but throughout the year that's going to be across all TV shows, across sport channels and stuff, that's going to be the highest rating. My opinion on the match, so I think it was a great game. I liked it. There was not a lot of points. It was a tough game. It was end-to-end footy. That's what I liked about it. There were a lot of penalties at the start, which I didn't like. Where I think New South Wales went wrong was from the dummy half, and I expressed that in my page, on my Facebook page, Ali's latest NRL Rumours. Robbie Farah, he didn't have the best game. He had for me, he had a shocker. He did defensively. I think he made about 50 tackles or something, but I think his attack, our defense was great, but his attack wasn't great. His passing, his service from dummy half was too slow, and he put off our halves and he put off our forwards. He got us on the back foot. Instead of getting our forwards, rushing up and going, he would either milk a penalty, Robbie Farah, or kind of slow passes, and that's just gonna mean that our forwards get slower, and the Queensland line of defense is already rushed up. So that's a problem we had. He did have a couple of kicks. I think 2 of his kicks were great. Other than that, he wasn't the best. He tried to milk a couple of penalties, didn't work out, and then it led to our halves, Adam Reynolds, getting put under pressure on the kicks, and that also did stuff up our rush up on putting pressure on the kicker, because when Adam Reynolds is under pressure, when he's got slow service from dummy half, that's going to mean that the defense of Queensland rushes up, and he's going to have to kick the ball, and most likely it's going to end up being not the best kick, and that's just going to make Darius Boyd get it, and on momentum, and it's just going to put us on the back foot. And I think that's one thing New South Wales lacked as well, with is that pressure on the kicker, and it came because of that issue. Another thing was Dylan Walker. It was a useless trade, useless selection. Wade Graham, Bryce Carter, it would have been heaps better. He came on for like 7-8 minutes, and I was terrible. He made an error. He came on, made an error. He didn't do anything else after that. But that's one thing that he won't be chosen for game 2, obviously. Cartwright, you think, would get selected, or Tarston Frizzell or Wade Graham, so expect that to happen. Our forwards, I think, did a good job, but what went wrong as well was the use of interchange. Now, last 10 minutes when New South Wales needed that go forward and needed that that momentum and that bashing to that forward pack, was when we needed that, Fifita was off, Clemmer was off, and I think that's one thing that we went wrong with as well. That lack of change, that lack of interchange wasn't right, and you'd want to finish a game with Clemmer on, Fifita on, to finish us strong and on the back foot, especially when we're behind, and that didn't happen yesterday because they were on the bench. Instead he took off Jackson and put Walker on, so that was obviously bad interchange. Regarding the debutants, I think Matt Moylan did a good job. He made 2 errors in 80 minutes. You don't expect a perfect debut for a debutant, but he showed why he's great. He attacks both sides of the field, so that's good. And Josh Mans had a good game. Adam Reynolds had a good game, and there's no doubt that Moylan will stay fullback. Our halves are going to be Maloney, Reynolds, and unfortunately Robbie Farah is going to be that spine, finishing spine at 9. So I don't see Laurie Daly dropping Robbie Farah, but if I was Laurie Daly, I'd put Michael Ennis instead of Robbie Farah. And I think another one is James Tedesco as well. I know hopefully Matt Moylan stays at fullback, but if the case was Laurie Daly is going to choose James Tedesco, I hope Matt Moylan gets put on the bench instead of Dylan Walker. So I hope Matt Moylan doesn't. I hope he stays fullback, but if Tedesco was going to get selected for game 2, I hope that Laurie Daly puts Matt Moylan and keeps him in the side and puts him on the bench at least instead of Walker, because he can play in the halves as well as fullback. So he played a little bit of hooker as well. You saw him on dummy half as well, so that might be an indication of for game 2. So for what Laurie Daly is going to do for game 2, maybe Tedesco at fullback, Matt Moylan on the interchange, and him getting subbed on for Robbie Farah. Regarding Queensland, it was a great game for them. They held on defensively, they were great. Cameron Smith killed New South Wales from dummy half. His running game from dummy half was great. He sunk in our forwards, New South Wales forward, which made sure that when he passed to the backs, the halves, he kind of they then shifted the play, and that made New South Wales go sideways, which opened gaps. And I think that's where Queensland were making a lot of their meters. So that's another thing that we lacked as well. That go forward, from Robbie Farah, he was too slow. So credit to them, and they Oates had a good game. O'Neill had a great game as well, defensively as well. So I think that he kind of they had a good game. So they'll be there as well for game 2, and there's no doubt that they'll be there for game 2. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is away from State of Origin. Well, for game 2, I'll be touching on game 2 in the next podcast or the podcast after, so closer to game 2, and I'll give my tips as well. Did I think Josh Morris's try was a try? I think that there wasn't 100% sufficient evidence to overturn it, so that's why I think that they should have given it a try, because the sideline referee said it was a try. The referee said it was a try, and normally in a game, in a normal NRL game, that decision will not get overturned. And we've seen a lot of them, not getting overturned because there's no camera angle to 100% confirm that it was a no try. So that's another thing as well. That's just my opinion on it. And I just said the 2 changes I would make was Walker out and Cartwright or Bird in, or if Tedesco was to come, Moylan goes on the bench, and the other trade was Ennis to hooker and Farah out. Another thing as well is the NRL is introducing new rules in the finals matches for this year. So there's going to be 5 minutes a half in extra time, and if it's still equal, then you go on to golden point. Also, Greg Eastwood for the Bulldogs, he's out for a month. He needs minor knee surgery, so it's bad news because he was he was their best last week against the Raiders, and it's unfortunate that this is the case, but no doubt he'll come back better. Also, the NRL, the TV schedule from now on, so on Tuesdays, make sure you're watching NRL Rookie on 9 Go. It was a great first episode, I liked it. It was so much better than what a lot of people expected, and I put my opinion on it on my Facebook page as well, Ali's latest NRL Rumours, a couple of days ago. I liked it. There's no doubt that today on the Footy Show they'll talk about it, as well as State of Origin and everything else, but there's so much talent, and you learn a lot of things as well, as someone that wants to, if you want to get into the sport, the rugby league industry, or just learn about, just for your footy training, you learn a lot about it, and a lot of drills that you could incorporate in your daily sessions. So every Tuesday that's going to be on NRL Rookie. Wednesdays is going to be the Footy Show, and Monday just Thursday's game day. So it's a whole entire week just rugby league, which is great. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is NRL Supercoach. So I had a great, I had 10 out of 10 wins for the last week for the buys. This week I'm struggling with my trades because I've got Jordan Rankin in my team. He won't play apparently. He was dropped for Josh Adokar, but Tim Simone is injured. He's got an injury cloud, so there might be a late change for Jordan Rankin to come in. So if that's the case, if Jordan Rankin's out, then I'm going to have to trade him out and make a trade there. Also, Jarvid Bowen, I know he's been great. I know he's in terms of he's been great in terms of giving you price, but I think that he's gonna play. I think it's round 18. He covers good for the buys, but I need more than the buys at the moment. I think that I'm looking at trading him out, and I was gonna get Conrad Hurrell, but I'm hearing that he's not gonna play this week. So at this moment, I actually don't even know what I'm trading. I have to look at it today or later tomorrow, just closer to kickoff tomorrow night, and I'll see which trades I'm gonna do. But one trade that I'm kind of almost confirmed is Bo Henry. I'm taking him out because I've held him for a long time. Sorry, Ben Henry. I think it's Ben Henry or Bo Henry. Ben Henry. I'm taking him out. I'm gonna put Segeyaro from the Roosters. He's been great. I think he averages in the high 50s, so I need him in the team. I've got, I think, 220,000 in the bank, so upgrading Henry to Segeyaro is going to leave me with a bit more. I think it's about 80,000 cash, and I'm going to use that. And upgrade Jarvid Bowen or Rankin for someone. I don't know if I'm gonna get Adokar, but I'm looking at I was looking at Harrell, but he's not playing this week, and his price is gonna he most likely is not gonna play this week, and apparently his price is gonna drop next week, so I'm gonna hold him off for a bit. But Dylan Walker is another one, so he's gonna play center, and I think they're versing the Tigers this week. I think Manly or the Raiders. I think they're versing the Raiders this week, and Dylan Walker at center. We all know he's a center. Hopefully we all know that he's a center, but he's, I think, just over 200,000. So I think for me he's worth it. He hasn't had the best Supercoach season, but that's because he has been, in my opinion, out of position. And if he gets ball, if he recovers well, if he's playing, I might be trading him in. So Segeyaro and Dylan Walker are probably going to be my two trades for this week, but keep an eye out on my Facebook page. I might have something there about it. So that's it for NRL Off the Field Podcast 6. Hopefully the next podcast is going to have more breaking news. I'm going to have fan questions as well, so make sure you keep an eye out on your post. On the post in my Facebook page. I'm gonna ask a lot, for fan questions for anyone that's wants to ask a question and wants it answered. I'm gonna have a post on that, and we'll see how we go there. But for now, please like my Facebook page. The link is in the description box, or just go on Facebook and just write Ali's latest NRL rumors. Subscribe to this channel. Also watch, and share this video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Comment in the comment box any feedback or anything, your opinions on this podcast or anything else, and I'll do my best to answer it. So enjoy the footy this week, and hopefully your team wins, especially the Penrith Panthers. So thank you again for watching, and subscribe to this channel.